and welcome back for another episode of Board Game Tutorials. I'm Cymrych from Blue Hand Gamers, and today we're going to go over Ticket to Ride. Ticket to Ride is a 2 to 5 player game that takes roughly an hour. It's fairly simple to learn, very little rules, couple of different cards, and these really cool train minis that come with the game for 5 different colors. It's made by Alan R. Moon, and it was published by Days of Wonder. Ticket to Ride is a competitive game where you're trying to get the most points by the end of the game. There is one very specific end game objective, but we'll get into that later. For now, let's get into a little quick setup. After setup, we set the top 5 cards from the Train Car Cards deck face up. And that's so that during your turn you can choose some of them. For setup, we draw 4 cards off the top of the deck per player. And all the cards are different color based on the different colors you see across the map. And then you have the special rainbow engine, which can take effect on any color when creating a set. So when you start the game, you'll get 4 cards, and that'll go into your hand. You'll also get these destination cards. Now, during setup, you're dealt 3 of them. You don't have to keep 3, you have to keep at least 2. But if you want to keep 3, you can. The only thing you have to be careful with is these will show you specific cities you have to complete. You have to connect your color of train car across the nation until these 2 cities meet. Now these cards will stay hidden for the entire game. You'll have them face down in front of you specifically. At the end of the game for final scoring, if you do meet that requirement, you gain the points listed. However, if you do not meet the requirement for the cards you kept, you minus that many points. So after you chose the cards you want to keep, all other players are ready to go. We go into the turns. Now, there's really only 3 things you can do when it's your turn. Now, every player has to take 1 action and only 1 action. Those actions are as follows. 1, we can choose new car cards. Now there is one special rule here. You're allowed 2 cards. You can choose any one specific color from the face up and then immediately replace that one. Or you can take one randomly from the top of the deck and then add that to your hand. Now the one specific rule that does change is the rainbow engines. If there's a rainbow engine on the face up section and you want that, that will consume both of the cards you're allowed to use or to gain. So instead of gaining 2 cards, you want the rainbow, you can only choose that one. However, like you just saw a moment ago, if I choose a rainbow engine from the top of the deck, that still only counts as 1 card gained because it was a random off the deck. Another option available to you is to draw and select new destination cards. You draw 3 destination cards from the top of the deck. Look at these 3, choose which ones that you think are the most easily accessible or long-term points that you want to try for. And then you choose to keep at least one up to all three of them. Now the cards you do not choose get put face down at the bottom of the deck. Now if at any time you go to choose new destination cards and there is not three or any at all, you just kind of deal with what you have. I haven't seen that happen before, but who's to say it can't? And that's the same thing with the train car cards. If for some reason people are hoarding them and there are no train car cards left, you just kind of have to wait until there are some available. Our last available action to us is claim a route. Now when you're looking at your hand and you have a set of cards, well, hey, we have 3 engines. You can build a set based on the color of the map. This equals out to be 6 pink routes. So what we do is take our color train cars and claim a 6 set route on the map. Now that will consume our action, and the cards you used to claim that route will then be discarded. Down at the bottom right of the board and on your little cheat sheet card, it will tell you how many points you gain for claiming a route. You claim 1 car, which is possible over here, like by Vancouver to Seattle. Down here, Dallas to Houston. It is possible to do only a 1-car route. That is only worth 1 point. 2 cars is 2 points. 3 cars is 4. 4 is 7. 5 is 10. And in this case, 6 cars would be 15 points. Now all players will start on the 1 position, and you gain points immediately when you claim a route. Make sure to be aware of all of your cities in your destination cards, because like I said, if you claim them for end game scoring, that's more points. If you are unable to make that destination, that's minus points. Now on the board, you'll notice a couple of strange things. One, we have these gray positions. Gray means you can claim that with any set color, but it still has to make the set. So if you have 3 blue, but none of the available 3 or 2 blue spaces are available, you can do the 3 blue cards for that gray section. You'll also note some of them have double lines. What this means is there are 2 different possible sets that can be claimed on that one destination. If you have a red set, you can claim that spot. If another player has a yellow set, they can also claim that spot. Now, normally it's only 1 player per double line can claim that destination track or that route. However, in a 2 or 3 player game, to make it a little more even, the rules recommend you only do 1 player per double route. All right, in order to trigger the end of the game, it's going to take a little while, but the game goes fairly quick. Your turns are quick, easy. You throw out some cards, play some trains, or you gain new cards. That's your whole turn. But as you start building your train along the map, you do not have to place your trains adjacent to already placed trains. You can place them wherever you want. However, there is a big endgame bonus for whoever has the longest consecutive train. You get this card here, which gives you 10 bonus points at the end of the game. Now, if multiple players are tied for this, then all tied players will gain that 10-point bonus. So to trigger the end of the game, when a player starts their turn and they have 0, 1, or 2 train cards left in their pool, that will trigger the end of the game. So what's going to happen is every player, including that one that triggered it, gets one final turn. It'll go around the table one last time. When it reaches that player again, the game will end and you go into final scoring. Now, final scoring is a little fun. This is where it gets a little tricky because all players will score their claimed routes throughout the game. But at the end of the game, you start looking at your destination cards. Now, let's see here. I've got this one, Chicago to Santa Fe. Here's Santa Fe right here. And over here is Chicago. I now have this destination card from Chicago all the way to Santa Fe. Which means in the end of the game, I will reveal that, show proof of my destination, and then claim 9 more points. However, I have this card, Portland to Phoenix. As you can see, I do not have that destination. Phoenix is here. I know my picture is over here in the way, I'm sorry. But Phoenix comes all the way up along the side to the top left of the board. We do not have that. So for endgame scoring, we will drop down 233 from where I was before, minus 11 points. And all players will do this for all of their destination cards that they have in front of them. Once you own a destination card, you cannot get rid of it, but once drawing new ones, you can choose to keep them or not. For the endgame bonus for the longest consecutive train built, you can cross through the same city multiple times. However, you cannot use the same trains multiple times. So when you're accumulating your total, you find 1 point, you count all the way along a specific path. It can wind, it can go through the same city multiple times. So whatever player can count the longest set of trains gets to claim the bonus 10 points. If that's green, hey, look at that, they just won. If it wasn't green, then they just continued their commanding lead. But the game is a lot of fun. It's very simple. It's seriously just a set of drawing cards and then playing cards, setting your trains on the map. Overall, it's a lot of fun. We have the playthrough coming up this weekend. It'll launch next week. I really hope you enjoy this game as much as we do. Have a good night.